Gotcha. It's spooky season, so I'm Adrian from Rabona TV, by the way, bring you a chilling, true tale of satanic curses, toad magic, bankruptcy, exorcisms, and Racing Club de Avellaneda. Shall we begin? Are you brave enough for this terrifying true football tale, pun intended, that, of course, proves that witchcraft is real, that satanic rituals hold some sort of power, and that cat curses should be taken seriously? Okay, only the bravest souls will continue to watch. The year is 1967, and Racing Club are the kings of Argentina, having conquered the Primera División in 1966. This, of course, gained them qualification into the Copa Libertadores. Their run to being South American champions wasn't easy, requiring a playoff in the semifinals in order to reach the final, as well as yet another playoff in the final, a third leg, to determine who was the best team in South America, and of course, Racing won 2-1. Winning the Libertadores qualified Racing for the Intercontinental Cup, a two-legged affair against the champions of Europe. Racing faced Celtic, and after two legs, with odds even once again, yet another playoff was necessary to decide which team was the best in the world. Played in a semi-neutral venue in Montevideo, Uruguay, Racing Club defeated the European champion Celtic once again 2-1. Now, let's back up to 1964 for a moment, when Independiente became the first Argentinian team to ever win the Copa Libertadores. They went on to face Inter Milan in the Intercontinental Cup and lost. No bother, as they won the Libertadores again in 1965, thus qualifying for the 1965 Intercontinental Cup, and once again lost to Inter. So, Racing Club became the first Argentinian team to actually conquer the world by winning the Intercontinental Cup, which is awkward for Independiente, not just because they failed in 2 consecutive years leading up to Racing Club's triumph, but because they are also massive rivals. Both teams are part of Argentina's traditional Big Five, with their beef going back all the way to 1915. In short, Independiente defeated Racing Club 2-1, but football officials at the time decided to overturn the result, giving Racing Club the win. The 2 points they gained from that match, 2 points for a win at that time, allowed Racing Club to win the league title, and thus the rivalry was born. Oh, and it also doesn't help that the two clubs are almost on top of each other. I mean, just look at this. This is Independiente Stadium, which, by the way, they went ahead and named Estadio Libertadores de América, and this is Racing Club Stadium, El Cilindro or Estadio Presidente Juan Domingo Perón. I mean, how could you not be rivals with each other when you can walk from the gate of one stadium to the gate of the other in about 5 minutes? So, with Racing Club celebrating their triumph, legend has it that some Independiente fans made it into El Cilindro one way or another. Whether they paid the Racing Club groundsman or not, we don't know. And they didn't just make a cool nightscape style sneaking into El Cilindro Stadium video. Oh no. They went ahead and buried 7 dead black cats near one of the goals in order to bring misfortune to Racing Club. And thus, the curse of El Cilindro, or the curse of the 7 cats, was born. The curse was, of course, dismissed as fiction by some Racing Club fans, and then those that did believe that the cats were actually buried there did not believe that they held any sort of evil power over their beloved club. They, of course, would all be proven wrong. And so, the 1967 season went forward, and we find ourselves now on the final match day, with Independiente going to El Cilindro to face their bitter rivals in their newly cursed stadium. And the visitors, Independiente, would defeat them 4-0 to win the Primera División title. By the way, that was Independiente's 8th title, while at this time Racing Club was one of the most successful teams in Argentina with 15 titles to their name. It was also in 1967 where Argentina switched to their 2 league titles per year system, with the Metropolitano League and the Nacional. The one that Independiente won with a victory over Racing Club was the 67 Nacional Championship. In 1968, Racing Club was once again vying for the Primera División title, but lost out in third. 69, third again. And then they really started to fall by the wayside, going through 4 different managers in a single season, barely avoiding relegation in 1976, etc. Suddenly, everyone surrounding Racing Club were thinking, guys, maybe we actually are cursed. In steps the new Racing Club coach Juan Carlos Lorenzo in 1980, and he takes some affirmative action. Dig up the cats, he says, and after a while the club finally gave in to his demands and dug up the pitch. Perhaps validating the curse somewhat, or at least validating that the attempt at making a curse was there. Racing Club found the skeletons of 6 cats. So, what do you do when you find the skeleton of a cat that has brought a curse upon you? You counter it by burying a dead toad in its place. Duh, this is so obvious. Everyone knows that froggy or toad magic counters the satanic / witchcrafty cat magic, and that of course is exactly what Juan Carlos Lorenzo used. The cats were removed, and 6 toads were laid to rest in their place. Why toads, though? In researching this video, I found myself on a page that talks about frog and toad magic. Some cultures believe that frogs and toads bring good luck, while this website, learnreligions.com, says in an article called Frog Magic and Folklore, quote, "In some traditions, frogs are associated with cleansing and rebirth. Think for a moment about how a tadpole transforms into a frog." Of course. So, Racing Club went from the team with dead cats in their pitch to the team with dead frogs and perhaps another dead cat in their pitch because, as you'll remember, there was apparently 7 dead cats, but only 6 were found. With Juan Carlos Lorenzo, aka Frogman, happy with the excavation and the pitch having been relayed, surely Racing Club could get back to winning things, and this barren spell was over after 13-14 years, right? It wasn't. No, as in 1983, they were relegated after losing 2-0 to, yes, Independiente, the club whose fans cursed Racing Club. Worse yet, Independiente's 2-0 win over Racing Club clinched the championship for them. The frog magic wasn't working, or toad magic, sorry. The power that the 7th missing cat was wielding was clearly far too much for the dead frogs, or toads. Racing spent 2 seasons in the Segunda División before they made it back up to the top flight. So, with the toad magic failing, in 1998, 31 trophyless years after the cats had been buried in their field, the club deemed that an exorcism was in order to rid them of the demons that had cursed them, and they went hard, man. Around 100,000 people showed up for this exorcism, 500 of which were carrying torches to scare the hell out of the curse. They went from Santa Iglesia Cathedral and marched all the way inside El Cilindro, where Father Horatio de la Barca watered the grass around each goal with some holy water. But this didn't change their fortunes on the pitch, nor did it change them off of it, as in March of 1999, Racing Club went bankrupt. The curse of the 7 cats was just way too strong. It was undefeated at this point and was about to end Racing Club completely, but thankfully, the club was put into financial care of a private company to steady the ship. I know what you're wondering at this point. How? How on earth do you lift this 7-cat curse? Toad magic? Didn't work. I'm sorry, I have a really hard time saying toad magic without laughing. Okay, toad magic, defeated. Exorcism / show of faith, didn't work. No titles for over 3 decades, bankruptcy, the cat curse, undefeated at this point, so what now? In steps Reinaldo Merlo towards the end of 2000, a football coach who was known in Argentina to be very superstitious. You know, the kind of guy who would believe in toad magic. He orders yet another excavation in El Cilindro to find that 7th cat, and the club takes him seriously after he claimed that it would be impossible to win another title unless that damn cat was found. So this time, they didn't just dig up the pitch in the areas around the goal, but they also demolished parts of the stadium near the pitch that were covered in concrete. Finally, in 2001, the body of the 7th cat was found underneath one of the areas that had been covered in concrete back in 1967. It was not a joke that there were 7 cats. This was not some sort of myth. The body count was real, but was the curse? Was Racing Club just incapable of reaching the heights they had in their early history and throughout the 60s, or were they well and truly cursed for 34 years? Well, in the 2001 Clausura, Racing finished in 5th. Not bad. In the 2001 Apertura, however, things were looking up. They were by no means running away with the title, but Racing Club were playing well under Reinaldo Merlo, or Mostaza as he was called in Argentina. By the way, you run Mostaza through Translate, that means mustard, which he was called due to his trademark yellowish hair. Anyways, in the 2001 Torneo Apertura, the title was to be decided on the final match day, with Racing Club 3 points ahead of River Plate. Win or draw, and the championship was theirs. For River's part, they smashed it on the final day, winning 6-1 at the Estadio Monumental. Racing Club went away to Villa Sarsfield. All they needed was a draw. A draw would either put this curse behind them or just prove that even with the 7th cat removed, they were simply bottle jobs. La Academia took the lead thanks to Los Bor, but then panic set in as Vélez equalized. The match goes on, filled with anxiety. Racing just held on to finish on 42 points, 1 point ahead of River Plate, and the curse of the 7 cats had finally been lifted after 34 years. 34 years that saw them go trophyless, get relegated, and go bankrupt, all thanks to 7 dead cats, courtesy of their rival fans. So, what do you think? Is this all real? Do you believe in curses? Is toad magic BS and the real magic is dead cat curses? I don't know, man. It is very fishy that as soon as that final cat was found, Racing Club win their first trophy in 34 years. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, then be sure to hit like for me and subscribe if you're new around here and want to join our growing community. My name is Adrian, this is Rabona TV, and happy Halloween!